The truism I'm examining is unemployment payments stimulate the economy, and how it's gained acceptance is it's partly because they've always been around and they've always been necessary, so people believe there's a reason why they've been around for so long, but they don't exactly have the right reason why they've been around. And they believe that the unemployed are always putting their money back into the economy that they're getting from the government, which isn't always true. And also, if a lie is told often enough, then it starts to become the truth. Some of the flaws. James Shurek, who is a senior policy analyst in labor economics at Heritage Foundation, said Congress created unemployment insurance as exactly that, insurance for employees against risk of suddenly losing their jobs and being unable to pay the bills. It was never meant to grow the economy. And another quote by him is, "What advocates miss is that the government does not create wealth out of nothing. The government finances its spending by taxing or borrowing from elsewhere in the economy. Unemployment insurance benefits do not allow unemployed to spend more, but someone else in the economy spend less. Worse, that someone would otherwise invest his or her funds in the private sector creating jobs. The overall economy gets no boost." And then there's a couple people from Obama's administration that have also touched on the flaws of unemployment benefits, specifically recent upping of the length of unemployment payments. And Alan Krueger is the current Assistant Secretary of the Treasury for Economic Policy and a highly respected labor economist. And in one of his academic writings, he put unemployment insurance causes the unemployed to stay unemployed longer. Also, Lawrence Summers, who is the director of the White House's National Economic Council, said similarly, government and assistance programs contribute to long-term unemployment by providing an incentive and the means to not work. Each unemployed person has a reservation wage, the minimum wage he or she insists on getting before accepting a job. The unemployment insurance and other social assistance programs increase the reservation wage, causing an unemployed person to remain unemployed longer. And so this is a graph I found, and the brown in the top graph shows periods of extended benefits. And right now you can see from around 2009 on, there's been periods of extended benefits. And so that's one of the longest periods we've had in the past 25 years. And then you can see this is how much regular unemployment insurance benefits cost the government and state-funded programs, and it's about $1 billion right now in our time period, and it gets higher and higher with the extended programs that Obama has enacted with the 53 additional weeks, and then on top of that, the 20 additional weeks. And so you can see if you hit 99 weeks, it's about $4 billion, which is an extra $3 billion that is being spent for unemployment benefits. And even though it does shrink for how much this shows the unemployed in millions, it has been shrinking, but each segment of weeks, but it still is just over $3 billion after 52 weeks of longer for those unemployed, which shows that there's still a problem, because after 52 weeks, there's still 3 million people who are unemployed. And then I have a video.
And the other, you're not buying it, Mark. Why not?
I'm not buying it. And listen, food stamps and unemployment insurance are needed. They're economic stabilizers. They form our safety net, and for folks who are really in hard times, they could be a lifeline. But in terms of stimulating the economy, that's a non-starter. I liken it to filling in a pothole as opposed to building a new road. I mean, filling in a pothole is an important function. I mean, you want to have, you can ride over the road, but once you fill it in, you don't have a new road, you still have the same road you had before. If the government used money to build a new road that needed to be built, then it would increase the capital stock and it would increase our capability to repay the money that we use to stimulate the economy.
Well, my biggest thing, you're the great expert here, but I'll tell you, I would rather have a government more involved in getting jobs than extending jobless benefits, but that's just me. But that does say something about the psyche and the mentality in Washington that defines its success right now or its value by how much it doles out rather than how much it cuts them.
And it really makes you wonder about this country. I was thinking about the Statue of Liberty. Even you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor. What are we going to say? Yeah, give it to us because we've got food stamps and unemployment. We're going to build a great society with that. That's not what built the country. It's not to demean food stamps and unemployment insurance. They serve an important function. But their mission is not to stimulate the economy, and you're not going to build a healthy economy on the backs of food stamps and unemployment insurance.
And then another thing that it relates to that we've talked about is the broken window fallacy. And it's kind of saying if a teenager breaks a bakery window, then it'll be good for the economy. And that's also kind of like a truism because it actually won't benefit the economy as much as you would think because that baker has to put out the money to fix the broken window that was a good window in the first place when he could be putting his money into the private sector elsewhere. And then that would have a money multiplier effect when he would be putting it in the private sector and it would have a greater benefit on the economy. And that kind of relates to unemployment benefits because it's using taxpayers' money to support the unemployed when the money the taxpayers are giving to the unemployed and giving to the government to give to the unemployed, it could have been put into the private sector and had a greater money multiplier. And also, the unemployed would most likely pay off the bills that they had already accumulated through their time of unemployment and possibly before that. And they're going to save what's left over most likely because of the situation they're in. So they're not going to be going out and putting their money into the private sector and having the money multiplier that's needed to stimulate the economy, especially with the economy that we're in. And so it really doesn't give you the money multiplier that you need to have the stimulus for the economy. And the socioeconomic impact is mainly that Americans are falsely believing that unemployment payments are doing any good for our economy. And with them believing that, it's also with the government extending unemployment payments and having that economic impact as well.
Questions?
Oh, sorry. Pardon.